Okay, welcome to this next video, guys. Now we're going to be looking today at operations on directed integers. Now this is ideally something that you've seen before in grade 7. Here's our learning goal for this one here. Students use efficient mental and written strategies to carry out the 4 operations with integers. So we're still sticking with that one. However, the criteria is a little different now. So you're going to want to be able to carry out simple operations using positive and negative integers. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, what's this operations on directed integers? Right, so directed numbers and directed integers are kind of that idea that if I have 6, invisibly we have like a positive sign here, okay? And so that means is that this 6, if I was to have sort of a number line here, okay, and here's 0, that 6 means it's 6 in this direction, okay? However, if I was to have the number -6, okay, now very important, please, no -6. -6 is what we want to hear. Okay, -6 sort of implies an operation. -6 is a number. Okay, so this negative sign here is telling us that it's 6 in this direction. Okay, so that's what we mean by directed numbers. This tells us which way we're going as far as the 0 is concerned on the number line. Okay, right, a couple of key ideas for us. Well, I might write that for us here. So directed numbers, so the sign tells us which way the number is directed. Okay, right, so key ideas. You can use a number line to help with addition and subtraction. Okay, so if we have a number line here, the number line before was terrible. Let's try and get out an actual line here. In green, that'll do. Okay, so got an actual line here, a little bit better. There's my 0. Now, if I had maybe 5 takes 7, it means if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. Now, 5 minus 7 means I start here at 5. Okay, there's where I'm starting at 5. Now, take 7. Subtraction means that we're going to be going down to the negative end. Okay, so subtraction means you move left. Okay, so we're going to go this way, and we're going to subtract 7. Okay, so that means we move this way down the number line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 7 down, and that takes us to 0, -1, -2. Okay, so that's a way you can use a number line to help you out. So in an exam situation or something, if I'd expect to see really a number line if there's any confusion or concern at all with you sort of regarding how to carry out these kinds of things, especially when the zeros when you're going across the 0, it can become a little bit confusing. So please use a number line if you need to. Okay, now be careful with negative integers. Now again, if I had my number line, I might make it in red this time. Let's see if this works. There we go. Okay. So here's my number line. Now, here's my 0, and let's just say this is 3, and I've got the the expression to carry out, 3 minus -2. Now, if we're starting at 3, in the past you would have thought, and really rightly so, because they're subtracting, we should be going this way, right? That means subtract is to go to the left on the number line. However, because there's the presence of this negative sign here, okay, it tells you to do the opposite type of operation from whatever here is of addition and subtraction. So we're subtracting, right? So we're not just subtracting 2, we're subtracting a negative amount of 2. So weirdly, that actually tells us to go this way, to add. We end up adding 2. Okay, so 3 take -2. I suggest you to rewrite that straight away as 3 plus 2. Okay, Same thing as if we have, sort of, let's put another example here for us. Oops, bullets everywhere. Let's put another example. So if I had maybe 20 plus -6, okay? The first thing you should be doing is rewriting that. So if we're adding a negative number, remember this negative flips around, switches that operation for the plus to the positive. Sorry, for the plus and minus. So we're going to have 20 minus 6. Okay, so sometimes it's a good idea for you to just rewrite that straight away. Don't let any confusion set in. Okay, now with multiplication and division, it's probably just better to sort of remember some rules and some ideas. Okay, so it's that sense of like if we have 6 times 5, that's fine, that's 30, because that's a positive amount of 6 plus times a positive amount of 5. Okay, and so that means we're going to get a positive amount. Okay, now if I have 6 times -5, so a positive amount of 6 times a negative amount of 5, so it's like the positive is made negative, kind of, and we get -30. Okay, now so if there's two positives, we've got positive. If there's a positive and negative, we've got a negative. Okay, and if we've got, again, because of the associative, commutative law, if I've got -5 times 6, that's going to be -30 as well, because it hasn't, sorry, if I had, let's just erase that, I meant to just move the negative amount. Because of the associative law, I can have -6 times 5, so that's a positive amount of 5 times a negative amount of 6, giving me a negative amount of 30, negative. Now here's where it gets a bit silly. If I have -6 times -5, I'm going to have a negative that becomes this being negativeness, and then it becomes a positive instead. Okay, but not positive 50 for some reason. 30. Okay, so that's kind of our little rules for us. Okay, so if we have, it's sort of, it is the same for division, right? So if I have a positive times a positive, okay, I'm going to have a positive. Okay, now I might write this is this. Oh, it's the same for division. If I have a positive times a negative, I'm going to get a negative. If I have a negative number times a positive number, that is a negative. And if I have a negative times a negative, that is a positive. Okay, so if the same sign is present, you go to positive. See, positive, 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 negative, negative, negative. I don't even know what was beeping then. So it's the same thing for division. Okay, so these are the rules here, they hold for division. Okay, so that idea of positive divided by negative ends up giving you a negative number. Okay, so it's a lot to sort of digest. There's quite a few exercises that sort of come as part of this video, but I think it's only really building on stuff that you've probably already looked at as part of grade 7. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you at school. Thanks.